All right. Happy Monday, everybody. All right. So we're going to go ahead and start the meeting. I'm going to share my screen on the Zoom. So it's recorded because Pearl's going to watch this later. Hi, Pearl, in the future.
Hi, Future Pro.
Alrighty. You want me to go?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Oh, let me change the screen. So on today's agenda, we're going to be going over more of a reminder of the 27 performance trackers that kind of will keep you on track of, what you can be doing during the slower time
Or even the busier times.
or busier times. Yeah. So basically always, whether you're busy or slow, you kind of have to keep in mind that once you're done working on whatever you're working, there's still business that needs to be nurtured and made so that way your pipeline doesn't go dry. So you have something to say?
Yeah, I do. So the first two things on the agenda, the 27 performance trackers and understanding your leads, are really things that, like he's saying, to keep yourself accountable for, and they're very much related to each other. So I'm gonna just jump right into it because the first one, I'm not gonna go over all 27 of them. We're just gonna put it up on the screen. It's something I found on Inman, the real estate news website, and the link is here, and I can send you the login if you wanted to read the full article yourselves. But basically, what it is, it goes over daily, weekly, monthly, and annual things that you could be tracking for yourself to make sure that you are growing your business and you are doing everything you can. Like there is the Adapt Success Tracker that helps remind you what you could be task wise doing daily. Like that's a task reminder checklist essentially. But these daily, weekly, monthly, annual checklists are reminders, more so on how like weekly, for example, it says number of appointments scheduled or number of new leads generated. Like if you're keeping track of how you're doing like weekly, you could see what you're like, you can track your metrics essentially, right? You could see what you're doing daily that's affecting what you're doing weekly, or you could see what's not working for you. So that's why I wanted to put this up here. Even the monthly and annual checklist, now we are in June, we are hitting another quarter, right? What was it? January, February, March, April, May, June. Yeah, we're about to finish off
Second quarter.
the second quarter. So going into the third quarter soon, what you could be looking at your monthly checklist, and see how you've done the last 6 months on your number of new listings taken or average days on the market for listings in general. Like maybe not your listings, but just like your market, you could be studying it so you could be the expert or for the area that you really want to focus on.
And I'd like to challenge you guys to actually have and work on this. If not by our next one-on-one, have that information ready by the following one-on-one, so that way we can have some sort of accountability, because although Zoran and I are here to support you, we're here to encourage you. I just saw a reel about this where like as much as we're here to motivate you, you guys have to be inspired, because motivation is exterior, whereas being inspired to do your things every day, it has to come from within, because we can encourage you and we're here to cheerlead, cheerlead you guys on. Your success really is based off of your inspiration in yourself, because like I'm here with the rocket ship ready to drive, but if you're not doing the task to pack your bags to get onto the rocket ship, it's not my fault. That's kind of how I feel. But definitely lots of things we can be looking at and use to not only goal sets, but also keep ourselves accountable, which, I can also be doing as well, because a lot of people, some other founders are like, hey, what's your average sale price? I'm like, I don't know. Like, why does it matter? Like, I don't know. I'm very like, let's keep killing it, where other people are just more analytical, where I'm not in that sense. But it's good to know for sure. Go ahead.
So this next part, understanding your leads. I know a lot of you are getting a little busier. And you're posting more and you have maybe, look at some of you are even working with clients that you had for a while, or like leads you've had for a while, and this pie chart up here is just to remind you what it's like when you have your lead pool, right? Essentially, they're in 4 different categories. And this is something I got from a coffee and contracts like video that I watched recently. The video was about converting your social media or like how to nurture your Instagram leads. But then I didn't really see it that way. I saw it more as something I titled understanding your leads. So you can like digest your pool of leads more. So what they shared was that 40% of your leads in your pool need time. They're not ready yet. 40% need education. They want to know more, want to know more. 10% want to do something right now. So that's what will keep you busy. And then the last 10% may reach out to you, but never actually use you. And that's okay too. And that's not to be discouraged. That's like, I really wanted to share that in case you do have people like that, because John certainly has had people who have followed him a long, long, long time, and then they say they're gonna use him and then buy a new build.
So,
Yeah.
I
and
get so
buy a new
pissed.
build or something. So, it happens. And this pie chart is here to remind you of that. But what I like that they shared is this pie chart also relates to how they categorize the leads. They call them A leads, B leads, C leads, D leads. And if you, oh, that's Leah. It's Leah. It's Leah. I know.
It's okay,
Hey.
just go.
A leads are the people who, that 10% that right now, people, they are people you're actively under contract with, or you're looking at homes with and submitting offers with, and will probably be in a home in 0 to 3 months. B leads are the pre-approved folks. They are set up on auto search. They're not quite ready. They're always checking Zillow. They'll probably be in a home in 3 to 6 months. And they're that 40% of people that need time. And then the C leads, those are the ones that you're always nurturing. Those are the ones that need education. And why do we post those things on social that show you know what you're talking about? Because of people like this. 40% that need education are the ones that show interest. They're not pre-approved. A lot of times they are too afraid to get pre-approved, or they're too worried to do it. And they may be in a home in 6 to 12 months. And then the last category are the D leads. I actually, after going, like reading through this, I would call them the lurkers. Those are the
Yeah.
people that are lurking on your account, know what you're doing. They know one day they're aspirational buyers and sellers. They know one day they want to use you, or they think they want to use you, or they say they want to use you one day, but you don't know when that one day is. And they're the reason we continue to show up for our businesses online, right? Because they're the lurkers.
Yeah.
But not to say that, you want to focus on anyone particularly. It's easy to focus on your A leads. But what I really wanted to share about this is that when you digest your leads, right? A, B, C, D, really like categorize your leads to make sure you know how many you have of each currently. Even if it's not a lot, but it's easy to focus on your A leads and then forget about your C leads and your D leads, or even your B leads. And if you don't want them to fall into that never category where they don't end up using you, just remind you that you need to focus on all of them. So please digest your pool. What does your pool look like? And what can you do for the B's and C's to make them A's? Because as you're finishing up your A's, you want to be ready to nurture those B and C's even more. Want anything to add to that?
No, and I think what you said is spot on. I think for sure the social media content that we put on is for the C and D people, just because you're there to really capture them while they're still unsure of what they're gonna do, because, you know, I know people who have used, who follow me but have not used me. Like whenever somebody new follows me, I go to their Instagram, I see like, all right, who are you following? Are you following any other realtors? Kind of see like, do I have any competition already? And in some cases, I've been in the position where I had another agent show a home, my Benicia listing home a few years back. And the agent posted, oh, showing at Barrier Living's listing here in Benicia. And so one of their leads clicked on my name, started following me and liked me better. So like, there's always competition out there. And although collaborating and working with other agents outside of Adapt is great. Like having those relationships are great, but on social media, like posting other agents, I wouldn't necessarily recommend, just because you're just giving people a door out to somebody else. So that's something that, you know, I've learned from that experience.
I think that experience more so is for sharing other people's listings. I think
Mhm.
it's more, like, that's more true. I think sharing
Right.
other people's educational pieces.
Mhm.
It just show like, and then like adding your 2 cents to it,
Mhm.
just shows what you believe in or what you also find true in real estate, because we're all in the same market. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but when you're like sharing other people's listings, it's like, what we have found is that people always want to work with a listing agent. Like, we've lost people who just choose the listing agent.
Mhm.
So that's, they go straight to the listing agent. Like, we had a friend, like a longtime friend of mine, who reached out and said, I'm gonna use you guys. And then it's like almost a year later, we found out she bought a home from an open house listing agent.
Mhm.
Like, she went to the open house, she didn't tell us. And then she ended up just using listing agent. And then,
Double-ended it.
Mhm.
yeah, they ended up just double ending it. And then like in the situation Ron's talking about, like he shared, oh, or like they shared, oh, we're at Bay Area Living's listing. John got the client, because they were like, oh, I like this house, but he was like, oh, you want to live in Benicia? They're like, no. Oh, I like the house, but I wanna consider other places too. So we ended up,
Go ahead and open it.
oh, turn it on.
Go ahead and grab it.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Say thank you.
Thank you.
It's just got DoorDash.
Share. Okay, you go to the next part while I put it.
Alrighty, so here, going on to the next part. So I'm glad all you guys were able to show up, especially those who have had recent transactions. Because although a lot of the learning is done being in the transaction, I wanted to open up the floor to the recent agents who have closed something, and whether it's your first, your 10th deal, there's, you know, even for me, every transaction is a learning experience of something that I could take and ensure that I remember this for the next transaction. So who wants to go first about kind of talking about your transaction and sharing what you learned? Anything, any like road bumps, any heart attacks you may have had? Uh, feel free to let me know. You want to go first, Ayla?
Yeah, do you want me to unmute and?
Yeah, I can mute myself.
Okay. Sorry. So with this transaction, they were first-time home buyers, so I think,
Turn up your mic just in case somebody comes.
okay. Okay, can you guys hear me? You guys can hear me? Tina, okay. So I think with this one, what I learned the most is really educating myself on like the different types of loans. Especially when it's first-time home buyers, like what they need to pass the appraisal, because I think that was like our only roadblock really, was just the stuff that needed to be fixed, like dry rot or like the failed window. So kind of just educating myself more, because this was my first transaction, so I really didn't know. So I literally was like texting Jonathan all day, every day. But yeah, I think for going forward, I think I just want to be more educated, especially talking to Brad as well, and just having any questions beforehand, because I don't want to blow up Jonathan's phone all day and be like, okay, what's the answer to this question? Because I don't know,
Which is
right?
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay, but like
I do that, so
Yeah.
a lot.
But I think that was my biggest learning process was just or what I have to take in consideration for the next one is to really just know what I'm doing, I guess. Can kind of just, I don't know if I'm gonna work with a conventional loan, so just educating myself more
Yeah,
on that.
so to touch and I guess expand on that topic, any buyer who is taking out a loan, whether it be FHA, conventional, VA, all those three options, there always has to be a stove at the home. The water heater has to be double strapped if it's a water
Oh, yeah.
tank. And then there always has to be a carbon monoxide detector on each floor, smoke detector on each floor. And then if it's VA, all of section 1 work, it has to be completed. So. But yes, and it gets a little tricky as well because, in our case with Isla, the condo or the townhouse that we were looking at, the buyer was using an FHA loan. So with FHA loans and condos and townhouses, the community has to be FHA approved as well,
PUD, yeah.
unless it's a PUD, which is a public.
Public unit development
Yeah.
or planned
Planned
unit development.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I know PUD. So it's has to be a PUD and then it's excluded from being FHA approved.
Mhm.
It would be then considered like a single family home.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Thanks for sharing that as well.
Mhm.
I can go. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay, so one heart attack moment was definitely with my first time home buyer. So he had like literally zero knowledge about like anything of the whole process, and I had to just explain everything like line by line. Like he made sure everything's like cross the T, dot the I's type of person. And I knew him for many, 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 many years. And I had no idea he was like this. So the one thing that really was so stressful is the appraisal. So I definitely learned more about like the importance of doing like the comps and not going way over what we see that has been sold within the last few months. And it's basically something that I learned is to over communicate a lot. Because I thought that I explained to him the important or the meaning to waiving the contingency appraisal. And then he comes back to me and be like, oh, what is this appraisal gap? So that's like a huge, a mistake on my end, which I took, I apologize and whatever. But then, yeah. So luckily it appraised over values, which is great. But then just, I need to over communicate and just basically try to just remember all these details throughout the transaction. And also, it's really important to understand like the type of people you work with, like your teammates and the lender and like what kind of like just basically needs to slow down. Like you need to understand the type of buyer you're working with. And if he's going at a slow pace, you don't want to like just bombard them with so much information and overwhelm them. So my buyer was kind of overwhelmed at some parts of the transaction that was like out of my control because a huge part is like the lending part, So I try to teach him as much as I know for the lending stuff, but yeah, it's just important to know who you're working with. I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, but yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think, let me see. So definitely knowing who you're working with and that's why, I always prefer working with a certain team,
Yeah.
a group of people who I know exactly how they work, what to expect. We have a process in place. And that way I know working with this, whether it's a lender, whether it's a escrow officer, I know what to expect from them. So I know I don't even have to worry about it. Like, I
Mhm.
don't have to follow up on it.
Exactly.
So that way, when you are working with somebody new, then you kind of have to buckle down and be like, all right, they did this, they did this, they did this, and then you have to follow up on the things that they didn't do. So that's my preferred reason why I have a team and why I like working with them is just so that way the process is smooth and
Mhm.
it's less work on everybody because they already know what I do, I know what they do.
Exactly.
But there is something called a DISC test, which basically it's a personality test. It tells you like if somebody, do you remember what they're called? Like logical, dominant, analytical, and emotional,
look it up.
something like that. Well,
Okay.
I can send you guys a link later. It'd be good if everybody were to take it, so that way we can kind of, basically, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and understanding, not only taking the test to understand kind of how you are, but we can all share with each other like what we got on our test. But
Mhm.
uh
I think more so it's important to understand what your client is on this personality.
that's what I was about
uh,
to say. Yeah, but go ahead.
ahead.
But yeah, basically understanding what all these letters mean and basically use this information to read your client. So that way you know how to best communicate with them, because somebody who's so dominant, like you can't go like you can't really go with them with like, I don't know. You can't come to them emotionally or with analytics. I don't know. I think, well, with them, you have to come with analytics
Yeah.
to prove like what you're saying is correct. So you have to cater your communication to your client based off of, there you go.
They can't see
You
that.
can't see that. No. Oh, we'll send a link later.
Yeah, Cedric was very analytical.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'll put a link in the chat.
Saran will put a link in the chat. Okay, cool. Thank you for sharing, Marianne. And is there anything you want to share, Sheena or Johnny even?
Whoops, am I on?
Can you guys hear Johnny?
Hello, can you hear me? Yeah.
Marianne said yes.
Okay. So the deal we're in right now, there were clients that were waiting for the Dream for All. It turns out that they found out they could use their shares at work for a down payment. So we were able to get that approved for them to do that instead. And they prefer to do that over the Dream for All anyway. So that was pretty cool that they were able to get that. The home they chose, 1990 home, newer home, but it needed a lot of work. The seller was going through like a Chapter 11 bankruptcy. So I need to learn more about what that was. The mortgage lender fortunately went through a bankruptcy himself. No, not fortunately, but he went through a bankruptcy himself, so he learned he knew a lot about it. So he explained to me what that was, and it wasn't like a full blown bankruptcy yet. She still has a chance of getting that. She still has a chance of selling that home and getting the money back. So it just needs like court approval and stuff like that. But the house after the inspection, like it was just a lot of stuff that needed to get done. Just seems like she kind of just let the house go. So right now we're just dealing with the struggle of the buyers being really concerned and being really cautious about moving forward. As now it's not even about the price anymore. It's more like how much are they gonna be shelling out of pocket once they move in and live there. So with John's help, like we've been trying to, work out options for them, like trying to negotiate a lower price now after the inspection to see what the seller would say. We're going like really low, and the seller's like, I've never seen it go this low before. But
Johnny was texting me and I was like already drinking. And I was like, my response to him was like, he ain't never worked with Adapt. Like,
wonder.
we'll show him low.
I should have known you were drinking. That was he ain't never worked with Adapt before.
Right.
I should have said that to the
Right.
agent.
No, but no, seriously, like even if I wasn't drinking, but that's kind of like I have no filter most of the time. But really at the end of the day, we are representing our client, and we're here to get the best option for them. Although, in most cases, we're not asking something crazy. Like usually we have documentation and reports to show that what we're asking for is valid. So with this deal, we originally asked for $20,000 seller credit for a rate buy down, and then after conducting inspections, we wanted to reduce price another 30,000. So overall $50,000, which would be great because these are first-time buyers who are not the handiest, where they can't do everything themselves. So, they're very scared, even though like they can find something else, um, something else on the market, it'll probably be a higher price point and just wouldn't be the best deal for them. So that's kind of why they're still looking at this property. So I think they're doing more inspections, to see if we can kind of figure out a lower price point,
Yeah.
which is fine, if they can find somebody else who do it cheaper, that's fine too. But at the end of the day, we want to ensure that our clients are comfortable in what they're doing. And, they came to me and they're like, hey, put yourself in my shoes. Would you back out of this transaction? And what I shared with Johnny was like, I didn't answer the question. I said, hey, I can't really, that can't be my decision.
Yeah.
That decision has to be yours because I can't, like, I'm here to ensure that what you're doing is done well. But I can't tell you should or you shouldn't do this because at the end of the day, if I tell you, go ahead and back out, and then they back out, they find something else nicer, higher price. They see later that this house sold for $200,000 less. They're like, hey, how come, we could have bought that.
Yeah.
So there's so many things that could happen, but at the end of the day, that decision has to be the client's decision because then you don't want to be put in a position of like they point the finger at you like, hey, you told me to do this. I'm like, no, this has to be your
And now
decision.
I'm dealing with all these repairs and I
Right.
can't afford it. Da, 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 da.
Right.
Oh, so that was a good teaching moment from John too. Like we don't like when we talk to them, like sometimes like, hey, we want the sale, but we have to remember like what is best for them. So that's where you get lost. And when you want it more, John said one thing, when you want it more than the patient, that's when you start acting not in the patient, not in the client's favor.
Mhm.
So that's something that stuck with me. So always remember that. But yeah, that was a good lesson. But also one more thing, if you do inspections, like with the water was shut off when we did inspections by the seller, don't know why, but that's causing us to have to return and do that again. So
Mhm.
I don't know. Make sure they have it on. It should be the seller's seller
Right.
agent's responsibility, but
I mean, throw that fee in for a reinspection, like, hey, we have to come back out for you.
yeah, luckily they're gonna do the reinspection without charge,
Oh, that's good.
so that's good.
Awesome.
But yeah, working on that.
Cool. All right. And then what? Okay, you good? Sheena, you want to share anything?
So,
Oh, let me see.
sorry, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
I have a sore throat, so I'm trying to talk as much as I can, but it kind of hurts. But I was working with a seller, but it didn't really go through just because they wanted to list a home way over the comms that was in the market. And this is where John came in and just basically, told me that yes, we want clients, but we want to work with clients who are sensible and would also want to work with, our judgment and our guidance. So I wanted it, but at the same time, it would have been kind of like more of a headache. And if anything,
A waste
uh,
of time.
yeah, exactly. So that was my learning experience.
Sheena's like, did you see what she texted me? I'm like, yeah, I'm not calling her to ask for beg for her business. I'm like, she can go, bye. But no, yeah, at the end of the day, like we want to, like as much as we want to, not everybody's gonna be perfect. And that, I've had rude clients who literally are crazy. Um, and we accepted an offer and she literally tried to back out of it. And you can't back out of a sale unless the buyer's not performing. And literally every day would call me like she's on a telenovela, like, oh my God. I was like, I can't do anything unless you want to potentially be sued by these buyers because you breached the contract.
Does she not want to move anymore?
Her husband got sick, they wouldn't sleep, like all these things. Like it was just really just emotional for them, which I understand, but that was the most emotion I've seen out of everybody. But so you deal with a lot of crazy and a lot of stupid
So nice.
people.
red
Sorry,
flag.
sorry, red flag, all right. But
be
you deal with a lot of characters in this business and not everybody's gonna be easy. So that's why kind of having that disc test knowledge of seeing how you communicate with somebody is great, to help you just better prepare, better communicate with our clients to basically help them move along through the process. All right, cool. Thank you, Sheena. All right, we're ready for the next slide. So here we have just sold. So we have 518 Diana Drive in Vallejo. We closed at 525 with a list price of 528. 123 Welsh Court. And the Diana Drive is a client that was referred to me by a past client back in January. And I've talked to so many people between January and May where I introduced them to Laura. And Laura's like, hey, Ophelia's approved. I'm like, who? I was like, who's that? I don't know. Because I rely on my lender so much to actually follow through. Like they do. They push them back to me. So I do a great job of just kind of letting them do their thing. Well, sometimes I do have a whole list and mark who I introduced to who, and I follow up like business is slow. But then 123 Welsh Court in Vallejo finally closed. Woohoo! The house does not smell like cats anymore, and they're purchasing a new build in Vacaville. That one, yeah, she seller sent me an email saying, hey, thank you so much for everything. I know it's a little crazy and
She
like,
said that?
yeah, she said that. And I need to respond to that email. She sent it on Friday. But yeah, no, she, at the end of the day, it's stress. Everybody's stressed out, which I get. And then Mary Ann closed 1591 Ellis Street in Concord. There's two, yeah. Number 310 in Concord, at 320 with the list price is 315.
What did it price for?
It would appraise at 325. Yeah, 325. Even though like the comps for that property in that community was a lot lower because it was the third floor with higher ceilings and like it was just not comparable to everything else in the community. It was
Yeah.
renovated as well. It was hard to pull comps to support because most of the comps, I later found out that most of the comps that we were looking at were pretty old. So luckily the appraiser was able to look at, more like kind properties further away.
Normally in condos, they look at the community.
Mhm.
They don't really go past the community, but in this case, because there weren't others, there were just other condo communities within the mile, he took it.
Yeah, because we were praying to God, we're like,
Yeah.
oh my God.
Oh, God. Prayed hard that day.
Yeah, Marianne and I, we had a long call.
Yes, we did. And your
Yeah.
hot sheet helped so much. Thank you.
Yeah,
again.
oh yeah, no, Marianne was in a pinch. She was at work and she couldn't put together the hot sheet that we give appraisers. And I was in the city with my laptop. I was like, all right, let me pull
Thank
over.
you.
There and go buy whatever you want. I'm gonna work here very quick.
Thank you.
And no, of course. And then
But not
I-
everybody does that.
no. Well, it's in our client's best interest, especially if we feel like the property may not appraise or it's very close, then we definitely want to do it. If we're in contract and it's obviously under market value, we don't have to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. 1800 Delsey Lane, Isla sold in Pinole at 465, listed originally at 480. Great job. And then we have pending 4696 Lariat Drive in Fairfield. It's the sellers of Basalt, so they're purchasing in Fairfield. Buyers on Basalt, they should have closed last week. Hopefully we're closing, or 2 weeks ago, hopefully we're closing Thursday, Friday this week. Buyers were an ITIN buyer, so identification tax ID number buyers, so they had some issues with the first lender. We're hoping everything's gonna be fine with the second lender. If not, we have people hitting us up, but that's worst case scenario where we have to start the process over again with somebody else.
Why are item buyers harder?
And ITIN buyers are harder because they have to get basically another level of approval with the government. So they have to, whenever they work with an employer, they either report their taxes with the ITIN number or a social security number. And in this case, they were doing the ITIN, but when they do their tax returns, they were doing it off the social security number. So those two numbers did not match. So we were having issues and the client was, for some reason, if everything was okay and legit, he was scared of ICE. So so it was just a lot. And I'm like, how come you're telling me this now? Like, I'm the type of person who would share with the listing agent, like who my client is, what loan program. I would share they were an ITIN buyer. And, I felt like they were taking advantage of me because they didn't share that information upfront. So I was just pissed with the agent and, I went all out on her because, basically like they were not lifting contingencies. They're like, oh yeah, this is on my lender, but this is my lender's fault, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, my client, like she's trying to protect her client. She's like, my client, my client, my client. I was like, yeah, but what about my client? So I need to protect my client as well. So you need to remove all your contingencies if you want to move forward. So I kind of had to go off on her and give her an ultimatum. But we're hopefully closing this week. And then Johnny is in contract on 1498 Monterey Court in Tracy. We're getting re-inspections done. List price is $654, but we already secured a 20,000 credit and hopefully shooting for a 30K price reduction. And then I know Marianne's showing people properties right now, some buyers' properties. What's the next slide? Team update. So I know we kind of talked about our current transactions, but wanted to talk about, what you guys have coming. I know Marianne has a few things happening on her side of the bridge. Or
I
actually
do.
one in Vallejo, right?
Yeah, it's ready next week, actually. So I want to ask you guys if you're ready for a content day sometime next week. I just have to line up the landscaping and staging and then hopefully list end of next week. So this is 2405 Alameda.
2405 Alameda.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Tell us more about the property.
So it's a 2-bed, 1-bath. It's a little, I forgot what's the square footage, but then Justin's just about to wrap up. What else do I need to tell you guys? So I'm hoping to list maybe Thursday. Is that good enough time? And then we have maybe open house next week, but we have the home buyer, right? On
We do have
Saturday.
a home buyer workshop Saturday and Sunday.
time?
Oh, Saturday, sorry.
29th. Next week is the 20th.
Oh, yeah. So you're good.
Yeah.
Oh, we're
You're
good.
you're a week early before the workshop.
Oh, it's on the 29th.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Do you have a price point set for Alameda yet?
Not yet. So I wanted to talk to you about it too.
Okay.
Yeah.
TBD.
Not yet. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so pull comps and then
Yeah.
and then also when you pull comps, look at the condition.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing that matches the condition or the condition that your listing is currently in, that I would broaden the search.
Okay.
And then basically do more of a MLS pool.
Okay. Something sold in the area of at 450, I believe, down the street, but I have to double check. But that condition isn't great. But I'll double check though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
When are you looking to do content day?
Wednesday maybe, since we're off. Do you guys have Juneteenth off? Or is Sheena?
This Wednesday?
I
And then-
don't know yet if I have the 19th off.
Maybe Pearl too, hopefully.
Juneteenth.
Yeah, that's Juneteenth.
Oh,
I can do an open house for you though.
Yes, please.
On a Sunday.
Okay, I'm sorry. That'd be helpful.
I should know by this week. Let me connect with my I have a new GM, so he's not quite acquainted with what's happening at the club yet, but we did cover this last week, so I should know by this week if I have the 19th off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. So do you have somebody to do content with the 1 day turnaround?
How was that?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Because I feel like
He's
content.
saying
Oh.
content
Um,
means it won't be out.
yeah, I know. Because I was hoping, so staging might happen on Tuesday. So I wanted to do the content when it's all nice.
Unless you're okay going live like Monday instead of that
Yeah.
weekend. I know we lose a weekend,
Mm,
but there'll be more
yeah.
marketing out for
Yeah, I
it.
don't want to rush it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can talk to Justin.
Like,
Yeah, like do you want to do,
are we doing like the Can We Do? Or are you doing like professional aerial things or what kind?
I guess it depends. What kind of content are they looking for?
Yes, Marianne.
Yeah,
Let
right,
me-
what kind of?
Oh, you're asking me? I was like, oh, who are you looking at? I can't tell. I would like a video content and then the aerial too, because it's such a big backyard. So it'd be nice to show that. But yeah.
You want a fun video or you want a professional video?
I would like a fun one. I'm missing out on all the fun ones.
Got, yeah, I was like, probably wants a fun one, guys. So yeah, if it's gonna be like, I think for like Justin's work, I think it'd be good to have both, like,
Mhm,
Mhm.
both types out, because I'm sure it's gonna be so pretty and nice.
mhm.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, it's not not the biggest property, but
it's still gonna be pretty.
Mhm.
yeah.
So yeah, I think we won't be able to get content out by Thursday before it goes live. It would have to go live
Monday.
Like I would say the safest day for it to go live would be Monday, or you can have it live by the weekend and just people set appointments. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I don't think open houses really sell homes, honestly.
It's more for lead generation.
Yeah, it's more for me.
Mm,
And so
yeah.
if Justin like really wants it out by the weekend, it can go live Saturday or Sunday if the content is already out, but
Well, all you really need are the photos to go live.
it's true.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
would it be able to be Thursday? Like,
Well, some photographers can do a 1 day turnaround.
what do
Yeah.
you think is? I mean,
Food is ready.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I'll talk to him.
We'll talk. Do you have a preferred videographer, or we work cool with Jimmy again?
I was hoping for Jimmy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. June 19th.
Mhm.
Like
Alright,
you'll text
If he can, yeah, please,
Jimmy.
Yeah.
if you don't mind.
Cool. And then so that's in Vallejo within the next
Next week.
so next week. And you have anything else coming? I saw you guys are purchasing properties.
Yeah, we bought our neighbor's house, so in Concord. So that one's I think that's a 4-bed, 3-bath. Literally right next door, and I'm helping my neighbor move out. So trying to find her a whole bunch of places in the area, but she's a little picky. So that's why when I texted you about that lease, like short-term leases or anything like that, but I don't know. She's kind of picky and trying to figure out her options.
Is she looking to rent or is she looking to purchase?
I mean, she told me she wanted to purchase, but then, I mean, I don't know about how she can rent. She doesn't have a job or anything like that. It's just the cash that she is getting.
Did
to
you
date.
give her a net sheet?
No. Mm-mm.
So what
Yeah.
you can do is put together a net sheet for the client for the seller and be
Mhm.
like, well, this is what you're gonna be walking away with after the sale. We would recommend.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, she should have gotten the wire today, so she's she should.
Okay, so she should know already.
Yeah, she should know already. Yeah, but she's looking for a mobile home, at least 3 beds, because she's moving with her kids. And then she wants it under 200. So if you guys know anything, like that's maybe farthest, she said, is an hour away from Concord.
There are options, but if she doesn't have a job, then she can't get
Yeah.
a park because she can't pay for the space rent.
Yeah.
Or she can pay from her savings, but these parks want to see their income being 3 times the space rent.
Okay. Whew. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think her kids have it like that either. So
So either she finds a job or she might have to find a rental.
okay. Find a rental,
Mm-hmm.
you think? Okay. Whew. Okay, we'll see. Hopefully I can get that going. And then also I submitted an offer for a mobile home in Pacheco for my other client, but the seller is out on vacation till Tuesday, so
Is that for Gabriel?
Eduardo.
Eduardo, sorry. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So we're waiting on that and hopefully they'll let us know. Yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Good job, Marianne.
Thanks, it's been busy.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to go next, Sheena?
Ryan, my lead for his mom who wants to sell, hasn't gotten back to me yet. And I don't know, like when I go in the office tomorrow, do I like harass him there or
Well, you don't want to harass anybody.
I know, but like I gave him my card
Mhm.
and I texted him asking for his mom's info and I made it about like her getting to know us to see if she wants to work with us.
Right.
But I don't think that worked because he never responded to me.
Does he
So
follow you on social media or
he
like?
does. He
Right.
follows my Instagram account, and I'm literally on Coffee and Contracts today. I was looking at like this content that says, um, it's like what do you call that? Um, like an agent's role in like being a listing agent basically. And I don't know if I should post something like
No,
that as
no,
like,
I think it's smart of you to, especially you have a lead that follows you on social media, to nurture or create content that nurtures them
yeah.
is great. So yeah, I would definitely do that.
Okay.
And
So I can post that today even, it's just like an like how Coffee and Contracts works,
right,
just informational,
right.
but hopefully he like reads it and sees it.
Mhm.
Um,
Yes.
I just don't know how to follow up without making it seem like I'm being too pushy because I don't want to look too pushy. Especially
Uh,
when we work
like
together.
just be like, hey, like, how did it go with your mom? Like, I know you said you talked to your mom, like, just wanted to see if, we can just set an appointment out to talk to her and like really introduce ourselves, and you can show her the company's Instagram, like let her know that our background is in marketing. So what we do compared to most agents is a lot better and a lot more than typical agents.
Okay.
So because the whole goal is to really show them that we're doing our job outside of just putting the house on the MLS. We're doing our job in promoting their home so that way they can sell fast and for more.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, it's really just be like, just don't, I don't know, like just be very professional when talking to him
Mhm.
about it, and don't bring it up hella times, like because you work with them, like you see them all the time. So you're
Yeah.
like, just don't bring it up all the time, kind of
Right.
thing.
Okay. So I'll just shoot him a text today, then just following up and see what he says.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Is he off today too?
He should be off today. I don't think there's a turn. He's like an assistant golf professional, so he works in the golf shop. Uh,
Mm,
I know he doesn't live with his family, so I don't know if that's causing the hiccup, but I don't want them to revert back to the realtor friend that they had.
mm-hmm.
Because I guess that friend was kind of pushing to have the home staged, but they don't want to fork out $8,000 to get the home staged, basically. And I
Mm-hmm.
didn't want to bring up that we can do staging ourselves because I know you and Duran does that.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I don't want them to think that I also want their home to get staged. Like they don't have to if they don't want to.
Right. Yeah, we can opt to get digital staging done.
Okay.
Um, I'm not sure if, do you know if Jimmy does, he does digital staging? Cool, so Jimmy does digital staging. And it's a lot more affordable. It could be like some, depending on who you go with.
Yeah.
It could just be like $35-$40 a photo.
Okay. Okay. I'll include that on the text. I'll be like, hey, just so you know, digital staging is a thing.
Mhm.
$35 to $40.
You don't even have to, well, if they go with digital staging, you can just tell them that the house doesn't have to be staged and you don't have to tell them the cost. Just
Right.
tell them that we would cover the cost.
Okay. Should they move forward with working with us and
Right,
do a digital staging than an actual staging?
yeah, because we're not gonna pay for staging if they don't work with us.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay, I'll follow up on him today then.
Cool.
Mhm.
Awesome. Johnny, anything else here before we move on? I don't think so. Johnny,
Oh, still working on my Vacaville client. We put in, yeah, Louise. And she's an older lady and more slow pace. So we did put in an offer on the house that she wanted, but we kind of like we were fighting against the clock and we kind of lost. We kept um, calling, texting her, let her know, just giving her an update that hey, if you, because the house that she wanted, they already got offers on. They were deciding by that day because they had like in place that they had to respond by that evening. So they were on a tight squeeze and they had to make a decision. And I communicated all that to my client, but she was just kind of like, hey, I'm at work. I'll get to it tonight at 9 p.m. or something like that. So I did tell her straight up, like, hey, so if you still want to move forward on this house right now is the time to sign the contract and get over. If not, then it's kind of like up to you. You won't get the house. But we stayed up till like almost midnight. John was helping me a lot. I'm talking to her as well, and we finally got her to finish it. We sent it in, but they already accepted the counter offer from the other person. So what I learned is that if you work with clients that are slower paced or older clients, just try to have everything as ready as possible. Like have the proof of funds, have all the letter of approval, everything ready to go. Because even that stuff took a long time. It took about like half an hour to get over the letter of approval to us. It should took like another half hour to get over the proof of funds, which is just her bank statement. So like I think everything like affected our ability to get that into the agent on time. So
yeah,
um,
I would also recommend, especially if you can kind of feel and read that your clients are very cautious, very slow, to send over a practice offer to them. Like, hey, I know like we're not at the point where we want a house, we want this house yet, but here I want to give you an example of what the offer would look like so that when we're able to submit the offer, we need you to basically just sign it. So that way you know exactly what to look for in the offer. You can look at to ensure that these sections in the offer match what we're talking about.
yeah, that's a really good idea. Like even almost maybe even do like a buyer's consult where you're going through the
Mhm.
agreement with them. Like this is what we're gonna fill out.
Right.
Like, these are the sections that you should be looking at. So the next one, I'm pretty sure she's gonna know exactly what to look for, and she's gonna be much faster with it.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. But she's currently ill, so we
Oh.
didn't get to see any homes this past weekend.
Okay, but you're still in contact with
Still in
her.
contact, and I have
That's
a
good.
friend who's pre-approved that we're still working on finding a condo for her that fits her price range in
Mhm.
Concord. So it's kind of hard right now for something around 400 or less with 2 beds and in-unit washer dryer. So that seems to be a hard thing to find. So Concord folks down there, if you see anything, let me know. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Very cool. Thanks, Johnny. Ayla?
You want me to unmute? Okay, I'll-
Yeah, so they can hear you.
Okay, yeah, so I have a meeting with one of my friends She is one of my Thrive girls, and she moved back home with her parents, and her and her boyfriend are currently living apart. So I think her original timeline was she wanted to move, try to get pre-approved around May, and it's already June. So I'm gonna try to meet up with her and do like a Pilates class or something if I can get her out. To see what their timeline is, and then me and Jimmy are still looking. Jimmy doesn't get pre-approved yet. God, he's on my decline. I'm just kidding. My D list. But he does like the fact that Brad was very timely, and so I was like, okay, well, you have two options. You have Laura and Brad. So I think it's just him choosing. Oh,
Back, Bonito.
oh,
The meeting's almost done. If you
oh my God, I
wanna
haven't
drop
seen him
by.
forever.
The
Joe's
kids are
here.
all here.
Let me stop.
You guys are all muted.
Are you guys still talking?
I was literally wondering the same thing. I'm like, I can't hear anything.
I'm like, hello?
I think Joe came in and then they all went on mute. And then now I'm like,
Oh, Joe? Joe's there?
Joe came in to visit.
Oh, so now we're all being ignored.
I don't know, girly.
I'm like, I gotta go. Sorry. Yeah, I gotta go now though. I gotta start working real quick. So
John, are you talking?
I don't know. Is he talking? I can't tell.
muted.
Remember, everyone is on mute and I don't understand what's happening.
So
Oh my
sorry.
Oh, there you go.
Sorry.
We're just like this. What's happening?
Oh,
my
no.
You texted us.
I know.
Some of us looked down.
Oh, no.
Oh my God, horrible.
I don't have my phone on me right now. One of the kids has my phone.
Oh, it's okay. I'm just kidding.
Bye.
Okay, but I gotta go now, guys.
Okay.
So, I'll ask Justin. So Jimmy's busy on Wednesday, right, Isla? Okay, so I'll ask either, yeah, maybe Thursday or Friday.
He said, are you all on mute? She did.
Sorry, we get
Okay.
the echoing here, sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Okay, have a good day, guys.
I'll
Bye.
Send a link with all the slides, because there's a lot more information. But are you coming to meet
Okay.
me in the street on Wednesday?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I'll see you guys.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Oy. Okay, and then, so yeah, very exciting. Isla, you got a good amount of stuff in the pipeline? I know,
Because they saw the video, now they're like, oh, okay.
which one?
Right.
Oh,
Her testimony video.
see, I told you, it works.
Like, now you guys wanna talk to me.
Mhm.
Good.
Exactly, so marketing works, whether it being to new people or people in your sphere. All right, cool. Is that everybody?
Mhm.
Sheena's, Ryan,
Oh, yeah.
all right, cool, and then me. We don't have, like, I have people, primarily working with buyers right now. It's pretty slow on my end where I. Do I have any sellers? I have still that Ocean Breeze that said he was gonna list with me after the end of May, but all he did was reduce price again. Yeah, 2 times within 1 week. And I'm like, so you'd rather reduce price than work with me? I'm like, all right. So I think it's still on the market, but I think their marketing could definitely be better. Their staging could be better. There's a lot that could be improved. And then I was muted, but I am interviewing this agent with EXP tomorrow.
Well, I already found her on.
Stalker over here. And then let's see.
Directly with her.
Mhm.
But yeah, we were on the same team. I think we had the same mentor.
Mhm.
But she's up and comer too, and looks like she's got a couple of deals recently, so
Oh, good.
yeah.
Yeah, she mentioned something about like the team lead, like not actually producing. I was like, oh, okay. So I don't know. I think there's a combination of things, but
Yeah. When you work on a big team like that, like you're pretty much on your own.
mhm.
Like
Where is she? Mostly
Where does she live?
Yeah.
I think she's
Okay, very cool.
We're looking at condos.
There you go.
We want to live in condos.
And then, so here are our dates to remember. We have Meet Me in the Street this Wednesday, 4 to 8. I'll probably be getting there closer to
The
3.
event said 5 to 8.
Oh, it's 5 to 8.
Yeah, they changed it.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh, that's good. Because that
They
is
sent out the
long.
map today. Lori texted me.
Well, I haven't been in front of my computer all day.
I know. She texted me while I was at the mat.
Oh, wow.
And she said, you're gonna be next to my uncle again. With the farmer's fly right here,
Oh,
farmer's insurance.
right.
So I'm like, oh, I didn't see the map yet. She didn't send me the map. She sent me the list of names.
Hmm.
Okay. Got to check out the map.
Oh, yeah, so how early do you guys know?
They'll tell us in the documentation on the,
Check
in
now.
the,
Can you please check now?
I can check now.
Can you just know?
Okay, you can talk about
Okay.
dates to remember then.
I was looking at your screen. Oh. Oh, no. Anywho, okay, and then we will have, I put a content day on the calendar for Monday, the 24th, since majority is still available on Mondays. If you have, I mean, it's flexible, it can change. And then we have our home buyer workshop. We still only have one sign up.
Which I think is fake.
which we think is fake based off the email. You know, last June, that was like one of our bigger ones. We're a little surprised that it's not filling up. So like, we gotta keep sharing it. We're gonna talk about it, Meet Me in the Street, to invite the community. Like when you talk about Meet Me in the Street, like we're gonna have, what's it called? We're gonna have a giveaway. Oh, Joe's gonna like the giveaway. Ready, Joe? We're gonna do a giveaway. We're gonna do a giveaway. Yeah, because my best friend Carmina, her husband, this guy, this photo on the corner, Matt, he is a season ticket holder and he wants to grow his following on Instagram for his photography. So he asked to collaborate and like basically we're doing the giveaway with him. It's gonna be one of those Instagram giveaways where you have to follow both accounts and tag people, like that kind of thing. But we will still share it at Meet Me in the Street. I even got like so instead of doing like the wheel everybody does with the prizes, we're gonna have like a football tossing soon. So that'll be that at Meet Me in the Street, and then we'll talk about the giveaway and our home buyer workshop. Those are our talking points for the thing. Like invite people, like the kids will probably come over because they're gonna want to throw the football. And then you're gonna say like, oh, be sure to follow Adapt Real Estate and our friend Matt's photography account. Like we'll I'll print something up.
Is there enough
Yeah,
time to have an adapt football?
Make a football. We
I
will
thought about
probably
it.
run this in July as well. Just because this is like a free thing for us to give away, we're like, we'll just utilize. We'll have the contest go until like the second Meet Me in the Street, since we're only doing both. And then the game is August 18th or something. It's in August. So it still gives people like, once the winner's announced, it still gives them a month to just say like
They can go or
they can
not.
commit if we have to find like another winner or not. But we even have, I made schedules with Don's face on it. You don't even like watch football like that. I made it.
That's cool.
We have some magnet schedules to give away.
Nice.
We also have like our regular magnet. I made both. I made like Vallejo and American Canyon like contact info magnets. And then I made a magnet for the Niners football schedule. So we can entice people like that. And then, of course, talk about the workshop.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then a lot of you already told us you can make it. But just, yeah, that's what Jonathan wanted to know.
What?
Yeah, are we doing the lunch?
He wants to know if you guys want to do the dinner trip. Yeah, is that the question? So I
Yeah.
invite it.
Well,
Probably just wanna do one.
Yeah.
Sounds like a long day.
yeah.
All right.
So
We're all
it sounds
doing
like
that.
we're only doing lunch. You hear that, Sheena?
One to five. for the-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, was that the one for the being a buyer taking?
I don't know.
25th,
What's that?
July 25th.
Yeah.
Different people, like different ARIA top people coming to talk at this thing, so it's pretty cool.
Starting at 1.
Starting at 1.
Right? Well, that's one side.
Melissa Sophia, you're gonna be there too.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got.
That's a good amount. Cool. Anything we didn't discuss or you guys want to bring up?
Did you read out
Questions?
the email for the thing?
Yeah, so it's for Meet Me in the Street, it's show up time between 3:30 and 3:45.
Okay.
So we'll be getting there around that time,
What are the hours?
from 5 to 8.
Oh,
No,
I might be able.
go up after.
Yeah, we just asked you guys to wear your Adapt shirts. And maybe bring a sweater, your Adapt sweater.
76.
It gets windy though.
Yeah, it gets windy.
Yeah, once the sun goes down.
Mhm.
And it gets really windy.
It's not a cop.
I know, for outside, the cat was not all of it.
Do we still need to get the 19th off or no?
No,
Juneteenth? No, okay.
so maybe, yeah, so we'll. You wanna have Marianne? Jamie reach out to Marianne to confirm everything? And then let us know. We're flexible during school hours, because he's gonna be going to summer school starting tomorrow. Mhm.
I didn't have to go to one my last year. It's already there.
Bad seed, yeah. Bad seed.
Alrighty, Sheena. Thank you
Okay,
for coming.
thank you.
Alrighty, bye.
Oh, yeah, like when you're looking.